The worst time to start is tomorrow. I read this on a LinkedIn post a few months ago by Justin Welsh, and at first I was a little confused by it because I was like, tomorrow would be a great time to start anything really. The funny thing about the post is that it was actually a list of 25 mistakes that entrepreneurs often make, and I don't remember the other 24 of them, but I remember this one. So anyway, I read it and then I just kind of forgot about it and I went about my life, but it was always kind of in the back of my mind. And recently I thought about this other quote that was very similar, that said something along the lines of, the best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago, the next best time is now. And as I sit there thinking about that phrase, I realized what Justin's post really meant. Essentially, tomorrow wasn't meant in a literal sense. And that's because I'll do it tomorrow is usually just an excuse so that we can procrastinate, and tomorrow never comes, right? So we keep pushing things off and we never get them done. So in a sense, saying that we'll get started tomorrow is really just an excuse to not get started. So it's not that tomorrow's a bad day to start, it's just today is better. The sooner you can get started, the sooner you will see results. And that's because of something called compounding. Now, if you've never heard of compounding, it's a term that's often used in the finance world to explain how small amounts of interest can eventually add up to huge financial growth over time. Now, in the self-improvement world, what this means is that small, consistent actions over a long period of time can lead to huge results in whatever it is you're trying to do. I think this will be easier to explain with a graph, but first I want to set a scenario. Let's say you want to learn a new skill and you're starting at level 1 and you commit yourself to practicing the skill for a whole year in a row, right? 365 days. And your goal is to improve 1% every single day. Now 1% is easy, right? Anybody can do that. Now in the beginning, you're gonna have a huge learning curve, right? It's gonna be slow. So while you will be improving every day, that by that 1%, you're not gonna see results right away. It's gonna take some time. And in fact, if you're starting at 1 and you're improving just 1% every day, it's gonna take you roughly 70 days to get to a level 2. But here's where things get interesting, because as you learn new skills, as you keep improving upon it 1% every day, it's not just gonna keep growing at a steady rate. It's gonna start growing faster and faster. It's gonna be exponential growth. So if you stick to it for those 365 days, by the end of it, you'll be 37 times better than when you first started. Now this is known as the 1% principle, and the reason why it works is because as you grow your skills, as you gain experience, you're not starting from scratch every single time. You're building from what you've already gained and stacking on top of it. I think the easiest way to understand it is if you think about a paper folding in half over and over, right? So when you fold the paper in half, it goes from 1 layer to 2 layers. Fold it in half again, it becomes 4 layers. Again, 8 layers. Again, 16 layers. Again, 32 layers. So in a sense, you're growing faster and faster as you go along, right? You're growing by bigger amounts every time. Now that's kind of an oversimplified version of what compounding is. It's kind of a big concept. I think that would require its whole video. There's also this great book called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. It breaks down the whole concept of the compound effect amazingly, so I'll leave a link in the description for those of you interested. So let's go back to that quote about trees, right? The best time to plant a tree was 30 years ago, the next best time is now. Now, as we all know, trees take a long time to grow. Take apple trees, for example, which take something like 8 years to reach full maturity. Even though they're not fully mature, apple trees don't take 8 years to give fruit. It takes more like 2 to 3. But enough about trees. How does this apply to life? Well, as I've been saying throughout the whole video, the sooner you start something, the sooner you will begin to reap its benefits. Now, don't get me wrong, it's gonna take time. Just like a tree, when you first start, you're not gonna be at your peak. You're gonna have to grow your skills over time and put the work in to get to wherever it is you want to be, to achieve the results you want to achieve. But just like an apple tree, if you stick something out for 2 years, and I mean really stick to it, do the best you can to hone your skills, you will reap the fruits of your labor. See what I did there? But anyway, that's it for this week's video. If you like the content, maybe you'll like one of these. If you found this useful, hit that subscribe button so we can be friends. I'll catch you all next time.